Hey everybody, good to see you. Hope you're having an awesome day. Um, Glad to be here with you. If you're watching live, I would love it if you could say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you are watching a replay, go ahead and say hashtag replay in the comments. I'm Cindy Baker. I'm an executive function coach, which means I'm all things productivity. I empower professionals to overcome overwhelm and manage their time, energy, and focus so they can grow their business without burnout. I'm also an ADHD specialist. So I'm glad you're here. Today, we're talking about something that frustrates a lot of smart, capable people. Um, and that is why you struggle to focus even on things that you actually care about, that you would think would be easy to focus on. So if you've ever said, I want to do this, so why can't I just do it? This is for you. And so let's start here. This is not about laziness. Let's just start there. It's not about a lack of discipline, and it's definitely not because you don't care. Most of the people that I work with care deeply. That's actually part of the problem. We care about too many things at once, and we're not lacking focus, we're just focusing on too many things at one time. So the real problem is not motivation. It's how your brain processes decisions and priorities and energy. You don't have a focus problem, probably. You probably have a filtering problem. So too many inputs, not enough clarity on what matters right now. So you have to think of your brain like a web browser with 47 tabs open, you know? Some are important, some are urgent, some are just there. And your brain, it keeps switching between them. That constant switching is what drains your focus. And here's something most people don't talk about. Even tasks that you care about can come with emotional resistance, fear of failure, pressure to do it perfectly, or uncertainty about where to start. And that friction makes your brain avoid the task. So you might have strong intentions, but weak clarity. You know, if you say, I need to, today I need to work on my business, that is not clear. What does that mean? Write the outline for my next offer for 30 minutes. That's clear. Your brain needs clarity, it needs specificity to engage. Otherwise, it needs to know what done looks like, you know? So here's what happens. You have too many things and you don't know where to start. So you avoid starting and then you feel guilty. So you try to do everything at once and you end up doing nothing. That's that overwhelm loop. And a lot of smart, capable people struggle with that. And ironically, the more you care, the harder it can feel to focus because now there's pressure. Now it matters. And when something matters, your brain wants to get it right, which can lead to hesitation instead of action. This is why, uh, employees that are extremely skilled and gifted struggle with focus because they care. They want to do a good job, and and they have too many tabs open. So every time you sit down to work and have to decide what to do, you're using up mental energy. So by the time you choose, you're already tired. That's why pre-deciding your focus is so powerful. Pre-deciding, meaning deciding ahead of time so you don't have to constantly juggle with these decisions. So, so what actually works? You simplify, you narrow, you decide ahead of time what matters most, and then you give your brain a clear starting point. Not 10 things, just one thing. And that clarity is really what makes the difference. Before you start your day, you ask, what is the one thing that matters most today? That doesn't mean that you're only going to do one thing, but you have to make a decision ahead of time before you start your day. I even ask people to do it the night before and write it on an index card. Before you start your day, ask what is the one thing that matters most today? Not everything, not someday, today. That becomes your anchor. And your brain is not designed for endless focus. Okay. It would be great if we could do that, but you work in short, intentional cycles, like 30 to 90 minutes, no more than 90 minutes, and then take a break, a planned break, at least 5 minutes. This keeps your energy and your attention fresh. There are tons of psychological and neuroscience studies that prove this. I'm a retired educator, and I went to lots of professional development trainings that talked about this. You know, you may think, oh, well, I don't want to stop because I'm going. But if you plan breaks and make yourself stop, you actually come back with your brain even fresher and you get more done. It seems counterproductive, but work in short, intentional cycles, maybe like the Pomodoro method, and then take a break. And that keeps your energy fresh. And then remove friction, make it easier to start. Um, you know, lower the resistance in your brain. So open the document, clear your desk, silence notifications. The less resistance between you and starting, the more likely you are to actually follow through. The more stuff you got to do to get ready to start, the less likely you are to start. So you don't need perfect focus. You need consistent progress. Even imperfect action builds momentum, and momentum is what creates results. It's all about progress over perfection. So if you've been struggling to focus, even on things that you care about, you're not broken. It's very common. Your brain just needs a better system. And once you have that, everything starts to feel lighter, clearer, and more doable. And so you're in good company. Um, if you are interested in hearing me share about these topics from a faith-based perspective, a Christian faith perspective, then I encourage you to head over to my Substack. It's a brand new publication called Faithful Focus. If that's your jam, if not, stay here. But it is cindybakercoaching.substack.com. It's just $10 a month to subscribe. The paid, there is a free version, which you'll get an occasional newsletter, but the paid version is just $10 a month right now, and you get live video, you get in-depth articles, and things that you're not going to find anywhere else. That's the only place that I put those things. So I encourage you to check that out if you're curious. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope that these tips are practical and helpful to you. If you have something that you want me to cover in these videos, let me know. And if you have a question or comment, I'm always circling back around to read those. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.